All right, good afternoon, folks. I just wanted to do this video again. I already had it made, and there was some problem with it processing or uploading or whatever. Uh, so while everybody's been concentrating on these stories of the Mid East and Japan, which, Japan, I got a story about Japan, it's worse than it looks, especially for the Japanese people. I'm not talking about what's going to come here from Japan necessarily because we're going to have our own deals here to worry about. Believe that. We're going to have our own faults and fault lines and all this. And here's just one example of it is this dollar. Since yesterday morning, the US dollar, which is what this whole thing's been about, printing money and all this. Since yesterday, the dollar's lost almost 1.5%. Yesterday it dropped almost a full percent. Today it dropped 0.5%. So now here we have this collapsing dollar, gold shooting up, due to this. And another side effect of this too is that although they've made the markets look a little bit good, through all this printing and this manipulation and stuff, actually this year the S&P is down about 3% or so for the year. It doesn't matter what they can say. Well, the number at the beginning of the year was this, now it's this. Well, in real terms of purchasing power, the value's down. So, that's a big story here. We got the death of the dollar going on right here. And this is, and some of that's tied to Japan too. It's bad for the Japanese people, and people can talk about their potassium iodide pills and all that stuff, but we'll have our own deal here. I don't think that a lot of radioactivity and all that stuff's going to come here. None is good, but here, check this out. Here's this afternoon, this TEPCO director, he's crying after disclosing the truth about the Fukushima disaster. So the Daily Mail has received dramatic picture showing the emotional exhaustion of TEPCO managing director Akio Komori, who is openly weeping as he leaves the conference to brief journalists on the true situation at Fukushima, following his acknowledgement that the radiation spewing from the overheating reactors and fuel rods was enough to kill citizens. Remember Japan too. Japan, they're basically in the same boat as we were. They were worse. Their debt's way over 100% of their GDP. They have a lot of people there. And, I was listening to Aaron, Barbarian Rebellion's video last night, and it's kind of long, but he's right in a lot of the stuff that he says. We're in this scalar, weather, an earthquake war. These people have a lot of debt problems. It's all over the world, and we're gonna see something like this here one day. One day, probably not too far off. This article goes on to describe how, basically, it's been as people have been suspecting that, we're not getting any truth out of the Japanese government or our own media. Obviously, with all this, it's a very bad situation over there, and while they're trying to spray some water on it, that's not working. They admit that's not doing anything. As much as they're trying to cool that stuff down, the radiation just keeps going up. So, the people of Japan, they got a lot of problems, and we got a lot of our own problems here too. It's so easy to get people off of the things that are important because of this nationwide Stockholm syndrome, where everybody just, where a good number of people just basically marvel at their captors. And I see that reading these good articles over on these good sites, on zerohedge.com. I go read the the comments, and people are just, you know, oh well, oh, look what they're doing to us today. You know, oh yeah, well the Fed, they're going to do this and they're going to keep tricking us. And it's like somebody in, you know, it's like watching somebody in their house just watch people coming in and out of the door stealing all their stuff, you know, and they don't do anything about it. Nothing. You know, we'll just, you know, marvel more at our knowledge of what the hell's going on, you know. Oh yeah, well that's the elites doing that, you know. There's nothing you can do about it. Even people over in the Mid East, you know, they're unarmed, you know, and they're putting up a offense against it. I was going to read one little extra piece from this article. Dramatic photo. Yeah, they're showing a crane trying to do something. They're trying to hook up some power, but they think that the coolant system in this reactor is so messed up anyway that's not going to work. Yeah, you know, keep your eyes on the stuff that's really going on. You know, we got the death of the U.S. currency going on, and meanwhile, we got people talking about, well, Japan, well, they'll probably have a recovery in all this. You know, when 50 years from now, that's not going to happen. It was their time to get rid of a bunch of people, get rid of a bunch of their debt. You know, that's what whenever the IMF steps into one of these countries, you know, they're underdeveloped. They say, you know, these countries that they step in and they take over their resources. That's what's happening. I don't know if this story of Hillary, you know, doing this deal with the Chinese where they're gonna come in as soon as there's some problems here and just take over the. I mean, I certainly don't doubt it that that's what is happening. I've been saying as much as that. You know, we put up our own land as collateral for all these loans. The Chinese aren't just lending us money out of the kindness of their hearts. Whenever they loan us some money, they say, "Well, what are you putting up as collateral for this?" Well, they're not going to give us billions and billions of dollars for nothing. You know, and people wonder why we don't drill our own oil. You know, all we have to do is drill our own oil. I guarantee that most of the oil that's known in this country has been put up as collateral. Same way with the land and all the other resources. So, bad deal. Anyway, I'm going to see if this video will upload. And here's the links and all this. Have a good day. See you later.